Welcome to the latest episode of 5 on the Floor on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Thanks for joining us on your favorite podcast app on Apple Podcasts, on Android, recommend Spotify. Also check out the 5 Reasons YouTube channel for all your South Florida sports content. Also off the floor, that's our Discord server, $2.99 per month. Link right there in the description. Bypass the Apple upcharge. Get the most heat anywhere, the most heat information and conversation. Also, PrizePicks. Use the code 5 FIVE. Put down your $5. You get $50 in lineups to play right away. Legal in the state of Florida. This is our daily fantasy partner. Make sure you use the code, delete the other one, enter this one. Use the code FIVE. And now from Florida Atlantic University, site of Miami Heat training camp, here's today's episode.
Uh-oh. Yeah. It's Mercy. Music by Mercy again. Heat Nation, we the culture. Yo, I need you to call timeout. Need Brady to set the floor plan. Tropical blanket, open for the shot. Yo, Greg, set the pit. Still 5 on the floor, still ride for my dog. Still battle on the court, still survive in the war. Keep your eye on the ball, or get burned from the keep this mic off the wall without turning the cheek. From night to day, no sleepy paths or allowed to morning. The love to sleep in us, never catch us snoring. Live from Miami, report in the heat with 5 Reasons Sports from the court to the streets. Yeah, Wake County, Heat Nation, we say it proudly.
Welcome to 5 on the Floor, a daily insider show on the Miami Heat and the NBA, featuring Ethan Skolnick, Greg Sylvander, Alex Toledo, Brady Hawk, and others from the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Also, make sure to subscribe to Off the Floor for the most heat anywhere.
All right, welcome back to 5 on the Floor. Here's today's floor plan. I'm Ethan Skolnick. You can follow me at Ethan J. Skolnick at 5 Reasons Sports. I got Alex Toledo. You can follow the Tropical Blanket. A little bit of noise here in the background you may be hearing. That's because the Florida Atlantic University women's team is practicing. The Heat finished up their first day. Don't think they're coming back for the afternoon practice today. Looked like they went a little bit longer in the morning so that they wouldn't have to do that, then headed to a team lunch. They'll be up here in Boca Raton until Friday, and then they leave for Puerto Rico, where they'll be opening their preseason before they play their annual scrimmage, which is going to be at the arena on Monday. They'll be playing the Orlando Magic in the preseason in Puerto Rico, and then, of course, they open the regular season against the Magic on October 22nd. Not a lot eventful today. I'm here with Alex Toledo. You can follow the Tropical Blanket. Pelle Larsson did not go through a full practice, although he did work on the side. He's still dealing with a thigh contusion from his last game playing in Eurobasket with Sweden. Drew Smith has been in 5-on-5s. A lot of conversation about him today. We're going to be running a podcast from Drew. We sat down with him at Media Day. Spolstra talking about Drew's superpower today. And then also, of course, Tyler Hero not working with the team today. Didn't see Pat Riley, but did see the rest of the Miami Heat Brain Trust. And again, they'll be up here the rest of the week. I want to ask you something, and I talked to Brady about this yesterday. I asked Spolstra this question today because this is sort of a running joke about the Heat's running. And every player that we had on the podcasts talked about we need to run more. Nikola Jovic, Jaquez, all of them down the line. Bam has even said he'd be willing to run more. Ware said he'd be willing to run more. We hear this every year. Every single year, and then they end up in the last third of the league in pace, sometimes in the last sort of third of the last third of the league in pace. But it does seem this time that the roster dictates it in a way that it has not before.
Yep.
When I asked Spolstra about how he wants to play, he kind of was, hesitant, obviously, to offer a lot in that area. Not as much as he did last year when he talked about sort of the at the rim and the threes and all that. But when I said, players always say they want to run until you ask them to, because that's what he's always said. He said, players are full of crap. Do you think he wants to run? And do you think that they want to run?
I feel like it's always a good thing to run, so it's always one of those things that it's just an easy thing to say as a player, as a coach, whether or not like that it was an emphasis or not, who knows? But it's just one of those things where it's like, easy points are always what you want. And they frankly were starved of easy points last season, especially post Jimmy. Not that things were awesome with Jimmy last season either, but that was one of the bigger parts of the offense that you were missing from Jimmy, his ability to not only create for himself, but to be able to create for others, create easy points at the basket, at the free throw line. They lost a lot of that. And I think now, like you mentioned, the roster it dictates the style of play. And, a guy like Jimmy, who was soaking up a lot of usage, who plays very slow, you would think it's going to be a lot faster. But I'm always a little bit skeptical in general of that sentiment. But also when you factor in that, like it felt like they were going to, and Norm Powell talked about this today, that they were kind of, they had this style that they were going to look to play with Norm and Hero, where they were going to be able to play on opposite sides of the court and really space out a defense. Some aspects of that without Tyler are going to change now. It's going to be different. But, it's like you're going to need to move the ball. They have multiple guys who can put the ball on the floor, multiple guys who can do something. And I think it's going to be about like trying to have like a balanced offense. And that's just one of those things where it's easier said than done. Like you're mixing together, you're integrating a new piece in in Powell. You still have Wiggins, which is another part of the factor here with why I don't think they're going to play fast, because his general style when they give him the ball to score is not to play fast. He kind of sets up, ISO on the perimeter there, sometimes in the mid post. And, sometimes with the hook down low, like he's got a little bit to his game, but it's not in a way that it's like, it's very ball movement heavy. That's not necessarily his game when he's trying to score. And I think he's going to be asked to score. Bam too, like Bam, yeah. Frankly, like if he's not making decisions and quick decisions, which he's really good at, if he's being asked to score, a lot of times, he has the ball, he kind of waits a little bit, and then we'll take the mid-range jumper, or we'll try to explode past the guy. But it's never like Bam is not like this fast offensive player. So that's why I'm skeptical. But I do think there should be an emphasis, as we talked about, on being a team that, gets different guys involved, that makes quick decisions. As far as transition, like, I don't know. I don't really see it for them, despite their transition offense being more efficient last year post Jimmy. Like, they're not going to be able to create those same amount of turnovers. So I don't see them getting to a good volume of transition offense. But yeah, like this team, the roster dictates that there should be a team in the half court that is all about ball movement and player movement.
Yeah, I mean, running off of makes is not something that this roster is capable of, I don't think. It's going to have to be running off of misses and running off of steals.
And early offense, like you mentioned.
Early offense, which is where I think they need to get to. Got a chance to talk to Davion Mitchell today. We'll get to that interview here in a second. And obviously, he's going to be taking a lot of the reps, too, with Hero out, although he was going to do that anyway. Not expecting the Larson injury to linger. And it looks like Drew Smith is going to be back in this mix. To me, the rotation is fairly clear at the start of the season. I have a hard time kind of moving off of the idea, again, with no Tyler, assuming you insert Davion. I know Jovic has talked about wanting to start, whether Ware starts or Jovic starts. They're both going to play. You're adding Larson into that. I think Drew is healthy. Although, Spo did say today weeks. He did indicate, that struck me a little bit. He said in the next few weeks as we're working him up. So maybe it's not quite immediately. But again, he is in some 5-on-5s. Mm-hmm. That Drew is going to be in their rotation. And then it looks like Fontecchio to me. And I was watching him a little bit today. I just want to touch on him. He does provide something a little bit different in terms of just his size as a shooter. Yeah. And they are going to need some of that. And I don't think we went into this relying on Simone Fontecchio a lot. But Brady has harped on that some. And as much as I believe they're going to give Jaquez a path here to play right away and kind of prove that last year was a fluke and see if he can get back to getting downhill and get out of his head and all the things he talked about on the podcast, which we're going to play that for you guys over the next few days as well. It does seem to me like Fontecchio is somebody who's going to get minutes early, and they need his minutes.
I think so too. We saw him, up close here shooting around, and it's clear the guy is a shooter, right? We know that he'd have no issue playing shooters, and right now, after losing Duncan, this is the guy you got for him. And now you've lost Hero to injury, right? Even if they did add a high-volume, awesome shooter in Norm Powell, they still need more. Like we talked about it plenty. I talked about it plenty that they have 5 or 6 guys in their projected rotation who are going to be left kind of open on their catch-and-shoot threes. So I do think like having a guy like Fontecchio who teams need to respect, is going to be important. And like you said, he has like you lost Duncan. He can't really replace everything that Duncan does. But you do get back somebody with a similar kind of size profile. And I do think Fontecchio has had stronger defensive seasons in the past than maybe Duncan has ever had, right? Like Fontecchio talked about it with us in the interview that you alluded to, that he's been asked to cover guys, especially when he was on the Jazz, right? Like I'm not expecting that type of role for him, but maybe you get a little bit more defensively out of him than Duncan gave you. And we saw that Duncan's role was being diminished. So I do think it's one of those things where like it's not a perfect replacement of the skill set, but you get a guy who has a clear skill set and one that frankly, they just need.
All right. On the other side of this, we're going to get to an interview that I did today with Davion Mitchell. Got about 5 minutes with him. on the side and just got to talk to him a little about his offseason, how he prepared, what he expects to be different. We do want to line up some other interviews for you. So over the next few days, we sat down with Nikola Jovic. As usual, he was candid. Really good conversation. We'll also have the interviews with Fontecchio that we did, Jaquez, Pella Larson, Kalel Ware, and more. So all of those are going to be lined up over the next few days. So make sure that you're subbed here. Get all of our content. Also, we will be up here at training camp at FAU the rest of the week, and then we'll have coverage of the game in Puerto Rico. So this interview that I did with Davion Mitchell, sponsored by friends over at 305-800-PAIN. The phone number is the brand. If you have a car accident, you can reach out to them 24/7. They will get you with someone qualified who can help you take care of your issue and get you your money, which is what ultimately you need in that kind of situation. So reach out to them. Good people based in Doral. We'll be podcasting from there more often. They got their own studio down there. 305-800-PAIN. Again, that's 305-800-PAIN, or check out the website as well. Here's my time right after the break with Davion Mitchell.
Ethan Skolnick here, 5 on the floor at Miami Heat training camp. This is Davion Mitchell's first training camp with the Miami Heat. How different is it coming in now that you kind of know what to expect, as opposed to being thrown into the mix in the middle of the season last year?
Yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, especially going through the grind with my brothers, like through the summer, through the training camp. This is my first training camp in Miami. He's completely different than all the training camps I've been a part of. It's just more intense. Obviously, we have to be more in shape. I think that we emphasize with being in shape and pushing the pace. So it was a really good day today.
The way that you prepare yourself for what you provide on the court and blowing up screens and the intensity of that, how does that work into kind of your off season? How do you prepare for that so that you peak at the right time?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because you don't want to go so hard where you burn yourself out and play so many games. So you got to kind of just listen to your body. I think that over time you get more in shape. I think the beginning, that's why we have preseason, because you kind of catch your wind. You go through the process of actually game time decisions, so you get tired like that. But I think over the season, you get in shape. I think I've been kind of doing the same routine every year. You kind of stick to the same routine. You don't try to change anything up. And I mean, usually begin the season, I'm ready to go.
There were some elite players who said some really positive things about you in the offseason, unprovoked. Kevin Durant said you can't start a guard who's under 6'2" anymore unless they compete defensively like Davion Mitchell does. Tony Allen said you're one of the few guys that actually still provides that on-ball defense. Did you hear those things? What do you think of those things when they're said?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty close with both of those guys, so appreciate the shout.
So, you put in a word there.
But yeah, man, it's just it's good that they kind of noticed it. I kind of it's now being noticed. I think now that I'm playing with a team that I don't want to say the team that I was playing with, bad team,
higher profile.
Yeah. I think that we're kind of known for our intensity and known for our defensively, so it's kind of getting noticed on the national stage. I mean, obviously, I think I did a solid job last year defensively. Even in the playoffs, I think I did a solid job. I mean, there's still more room to improve that, but I mean, it's great to see those guys kind of just notice it.
But when everybody again talks about the defense though, but the shooting last year, 45% from 3, and others have said your form looks different, better. Is it form or is it confidence? Where did that come from? It was just opportunity.
I think it's a mix of all. I think that I had to switch some things up to kind of make everything simple. I think I was kind of making everything complicated in my shot. Shout out to Miami Heat and Rob. He kind of helped me out a lot, and Brandon Payne and my trainer Andre Brown. We kind of just try to make everything simple. And then the opportunity. I think that Coach Spo gave me the opportunity just to have confidence on the floor. No matter if I miss or make, he's kind of telling me to shoot it. So when you have a coach and your teammates have confidence in you, it kind of makes the game a lot easier.
When you talk about simplify, I'm assuming you're talking about Rob Fodor. What does that mean?
Just more like I was kind of dipping the ball. I'm not dipping as much. I'm kind of just getting straight to my pocket and going straight up. Little things like that, little tweaks, nothing crazy. I kind of still shoot the same form, but just not dipping the ball as much.
And the other thing we noticed was your ability to get a foot in the paint or further consistently, and the finishing numbers were much higher than they were. Again, where did that come from?
I mean, credit to my teammates, man. I got really good teammates who a lot of people don't want to leave. I mean, you got a lot of good teammates, a lot of people that can score the ball at a high level. So it makes my game a little bit easier because I'm going one-on-one a little bit. So when I get one-on-one, I feel like I can get by a lot of people and get in the paint. And every time I get in the paint, they spray out, so I go finish. It's kind of just like you have really good teammates here. They're kind of scared of the lob from Khalil, so they kind of stand on Khalil. And you got Bam can shoot the ball. He can kind of do both things. You got Tyler. You got a lot of people that can do a lot of things that make my game just a lot easier so I can get to the finish.
You think you're going to be scouted differently this year, though? Some adjustments might be made to what you showed?
I think it might be easier.
Really?
We got more team chemistry. You add Norm, you got Nico Bad. You add a lot of pieces who can really shoot the ball, so we have a lot of space on the floor. I can get downhill, but even then, I kind of just try to make the right decisions. I don't try to force anything. I just try to make the right play every time.
Off the court, you've had some time to acclimate to Miami now.
Yeah, a little bit. A little.
You found a food spot? You found some other places to go?
A couple places. I try to stick to the same places. I don't go nowhere different.
You're pretty simple in that age,
Super simple. Yeah, super simple. For sure.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yep.